besties, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Stels. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for tuning in. So today I'm in my son's room, right, and I want to just pack up his laundry, and I said, okay, what better way to multitask than to shoot a YouTube video and fold his laundry. Not just his laundry, our laundry as well. So I'll just fold our laundry while I chat with you guys. So guys, it's tax season, and I felt like, oh, I've been here 2 years. I'm not a tax expert, but I will just give few nuggets on what I know about tax and how to file your tax. So you can use, if you can make use of some applications, and you can also make use of there are people who help. There are some clinics, there are some tax clinics that help newcomers. If you're new, just Google tax clinics near me. Some actually have like seminars that they would ask you to bring your documents, and they'll help you file your tax for free, while some other accountants and some other financial advisors can and tax consultants charge a fee ranging from $50 to $150. It depends on the expertise of the person, and depends on how much the person charges per client. So since I've been here in Canada, I have never paid anyone to file my tax for me. I've always been filing my tax here in Canada. And I've been filing it for free. I have not paid any tax consultant. I haven't used any measure to file my tax, apart from just using this one application I've been using. Now I know there's TurboTax. Some people use TurboTax. I don't know if you pay any amount to use TurboTax. I think TurboTax and Wealthsimple are the two main applications you can use to pay your taxes. I don't know if there are others, but a lot of people in Canada use TurboTax, especially people that have been here the longest. They use TurboTax, but I find Wealthsimple very easy to use, and I decided to use Wealthsimple. Now, if you go to Wealthsimple, and you can use their website, or if you have the application, you can also download the application and use the application. But I like to use my laptop when I'm doing things like that, so I just went to the Wealthsimple website to file my tax. Now, why do you need to file your tax? I know a lot of people like, oh, they don't understand why we do this every single year, right? Back home, when you're being paid your salary, your tax is taken up from it. When you go to the grocery store, sometimes in some supermarkets, they charge you VAT and all of that, but you feel like, okay, everything is being accounted for. You don't have to do any reconciliation on your own, you know. But then again, in Nigeria, when you have a savings account, when you have any form of savings account or investment that is generating income for you, when you have it, when the money is being deposited back into your account, like for example, you have a treasury bill, and the interest is paid into your account, you realize that they pay the interest too, but they also charge you on it. If your interest in a month is on your account is maybe $100, you see another, that's credit. You see a credit and a debit. Now the credit is your interest. You see a debit again, which is like maybe $10 from the $100. I don't know how many percentage it is. That is the government directly taking their own portion from your income. Now, interest is classified as income because it's money that is still coming to you, and your salary is also income. Same thing in Canada. It's just that in Nigeria, it is taken before. Once it's deposited into your account, it's withdrawn from it. But in Canada, it is quite different. If you have any savings, or have any investments income, if you have any investment savings, your interest is paid fully into your account. Like your interest is deposited into your account. You are the one that will now report it to the Canadian government and say, okay, aside from my aside from my employer giving you this amount from my salary, I also earn this amount of interest in my account, in my savings account. So take your tax from it. Then also, I spent this and this and this and this during the course of the year. Oh, I need a refund from the government. For example, if there are medical bills that you paid for, you can get a refund on it. If you're saving to buy your first home, there's an account for first home, which is the FHSA, First Home Savings Account. If you're saving to buy a house, if you have money inside just to encourage people to buy a house, you get a tax refund on that. If you have registered investments like your retirement savings accounts, like you're saving towards your retirement, you also get a tax refund from it, because you cannot access that money. So you get a tax refund from it. Whatever investments you have, like GICs, guaranteed investments, bonds, commercial papers, you report it to the government. These are the activities that go on while you're filing your tax. If you're claiming disability, for example, you have a child that has a disability whatsoever, you can claim some refund also from the government. If you paid childcare, you know how childcare is very expensive here in Canada. If you paid childcare for because you're filing for the previous year, like this is 2025, and we are filing the tax for 2024. So if you paid childcare from either a licensed or unlicensed childcare provider, as long as you have a receipt to back it up, you know. Like me, I'm paying unlicensed and the lady is not providing me with receipts, and there's no even trace because we pay cash. So my money is gone. So if you're paying childcare, you also get receipts from your childcare provider, and the government will also provide some form of refund for you for contributing that. And if you contribute to any charitable organization, and also if you're paying like offerings or tithes in church, there should also be a record of that. And then you can also get a refund from that because it's a charitable activity exercise. So what else? I think that is it. And if your company is over contributing, sometimes they over contribute your portion of they over contribute on your taxes, so you get a refund from that. And if they're under contributing, if they're not putting the right amount they're supposed to put, government will ask you to pay additional sum to the government. Now, don't be taken aback if you do your taxes and you're told that, oh, you need to return some money back to the government. It's not going to happen like that continuously, because you might be scared and think that, oh, that why is it that I'm supposed to pay money back to the government? It has happened to a couple of people. If you do it and you're not sure that you did it right, you can decide to seek the help of a tax consultant or go to one of these clinics I mentioned in your environment, in your area. So last year I did file my tax, and there were some things I didn't remember to include, right? I didn't remember to include my FHSC, so I didn't get as much money. And I know that I can actually revisit that year's one, but I decided not to revisit it because it was just a minimum contribution. It wasn't a lot. It was just a very, very minute contribution. Then this year, and also forgot, I filed my tax for 2024. I filed it this a couple of days ago, and one of the things I forgot again to include this for 2024 is my group RSP. Now, my company ensures we do a group RSP, a group retirement savings plan. So not just only you, if your company does group RSP, you can get documents and file for it, so you can get some form of return for it, right? So now with Wealthsimple, it's going to ask you a couple of questions, and it will help you populate the form while you are filing the tax. For your company, you need a T4 form. Now the T4 bears your net income and some other box numbers that you need to fill. With Wealthsimple, it's very easy because it has the box numbers there that you just select the line from your T4 and you put into the box number. Starting from the beginning of the form is just to put your biodata, your date of birth, your SIN, a couple of information if you're married or single, if you have dependents, if you have a child. It will also ask you to state if you're eligible for certain other benefits like carbon rebates, trillion benefits. So you have to read. And the best thing about Wealthsimple is, for things that you don't understand, for every question it has like an information button there that you click and you see more information if in case you don't know what they're asking. There's one that got me confused, like, do you live outside this region and all of that. And I saw on Stereo, I was like, okay, what's going on here? So ensure that anything that you don't understand and is not clear, click on the information icon so you can get more information on that. Or you can even Google it to see, okay, what's this benefit about? Do I qualify? Am I eligible or not? They'll ask you if you're eligible for caregivers benefits. They'll ask you if you're eligible for some other benefits, right? Yes. Then as you're filling the form, there are certain things you do not see there. Like if you're working from home, there's a form you need to fill. There's a form you need to get from your company. Like there's a form you need to get from your company. I think it's still 200. I'm not sure if that's correct. but you need to get that form from your company. It states your a breakdown of what you need to input on Wealthsimple as well. That will help you to you claim. Okay, I did that last year because I worked home for a couple of months in 2023. In that form, you would indicate how much you spent for that period on lights, how much you spent on rent, how much you any additional expenses you made. You know, you put the square meter of the side of the room you're using. If you're not using the whole room, if you're using just a portion of the room, you put the square meter there. So it's a little bit very detailed. If you're not good with filling forms or doing detailed stuff, I'll just suggest to use a tax consultant. But I really like to get hands-on and do things myself. That's why I went, and I thought I was going to fold this clothes while I'm doing this video, but apparently not. So that's why I went ahead to do it myself. So that's for those that work from home. You can actually claim some return from the government for the expenses you acquired while you're working from home. Then also, it will ask you, like I said, with your retirement savings, if you have RRSPs, you just get the form. For your investments and savings, you get from T5 from your company, from your financial institution. For investments and savings, you get from T5 from your financial institution, and you impute the amount. You see the amount in the you see the amount of interest you accrued from that investment there, and that's what you impute. And you don't need to, if you have TFSAs, you don't need to include TFSAs in there. So TFSA is a tax sheltered savings account. So that is why it's good for you to maximize your tax sheltered savings account. So whatever interest that you're getting, some people do not understand the benefit of having a tax free savings account. So that's why it's good to have that tax free savings account so that you don't report it when you're filing your tax, you know. So this year, I'm going to ensure that I max my tax-free savings account, my contribution room, so I would not have to report it when I'm filing next year. Okay. So for investment, like I said, if you have TFSA, you don't need to report it. RESPs, that's registered education savings plan. If you have RESPs for your children, your child or children, and you withdrew from it, so if you take money out of it, it's like an income, you have to report it. But if you do not take money out of it, it's not an income, so you don't have to report your RESP. Um, what else? I think I've covered the basics and what is required. Ensure that you look at each line on your forms and you're putting in the right numbers there. If you're using the beautiful thing about Wealthsimple is if they notice a discrepancy before you submit, you click review and optimize. Once you click review and optimize, it would show you all the errors that they assumed you've made on them. And if you're married and you're filling a form, your own form, you can actually, you know, file together with your spouse. And if you don't want to file together with your spouse, that's fine as well. I have not been filing together with my spouse. I've been filing separately, but you still have to put your spouse's net income. So I also did put my spouse's net income on there. So if you're ready to file and you have your documents and your husband or wife does not have her T4, you cannot submit. So you need to get your spouse's T4, employment T4, and because you need the net income, right? Then what else? What else? I think that's basically it. It's a very simple process. If you need guidance, you can send me a message on Instagram, send me a DM on Instagram. You can also send me an email on stelsluchi@gmail.com if you are worried that you're doing something wrong. But using Wealthsimple is not difficult at all. Essentially, you file your tax early. Try and file your tax early so that you can get your return. The earlier you file your tax, the earlier you get your return. And if there's any need for correction, they notify you as well. You don't want to be rushing to meet deadline once it's close to the end of submission. So it's better to file it early. They'll review it. If there's some things they feel like you missed out, they'll reach out to you again and you do it again. So, or you just provide the additional documents and that's it. Last year, there was something I claimed that my husband claimed. Well, just one of us should have claimed it. I don't know what happened, but because my husband didn't submit as early as I did, I submitted my own. My own went successful. My husband submitted much later, and they're like, "Oh, so it's just one parent that needs to claim this," and they reached out to him that he needs to provide some documents, which we did, and we submitted it. And it took a while because he was even worried. He started calling them, oh, have you received document? One thing with CRA is, before they receive documents you send to them, if it's not like something, like for you to mail documents, oh my God, I don't know if it's a Canada Post problem, or if it's a CRA dispatch receiving problem, I don't know. Because we were so worried, we called, they're like, oh, they haven't received it. Later they said they received it, they haven't opened it. It was just back and forth, back and forth. So you don't want to be in that back and forth situation. If you're filing tax, be open with your spouse, provide the necessary documents, submit early. Yeah, and that's it. And also, I forgot to mention this part. With Wealthsimple, you can actually import your documents from the CRA. Just there's an import button that you can import your document, because most of these things that forms that you have has already been reported. If you don't know, if you think that, oh, I'm not going to report this investment, the financial institution has already reported the investment to the CRA. But my point is, if they reported it to the CRA, why do I have to file it again? But that's just the thing. So whatever it is you have, investments, any income, ensure you report it, because that company or financial institution is also reporting it. So once you click on import files from, once you already have a CRA account, you can link it to your Wealthsimple and import the files, and they just come in there. And anyone you see that has not been reported, you can manually now impute it. But I did not import, because when I tried it, I was having an error message. So I just decided to manually impute everything. So I submitted it, and fingers crossed I get, and you see an estimate of what you will get. So it's not as if you're just submitting blindly, right? So I saw the estimate. I'm not owing the government. I'm not, paying any money to the government. Rather, the government is supposed to pay me back something, and hopefully, it's close to what I'm seeing, which is nice. But yeah, it's every individual's duty to file your tax here in Canada. Now, children do not file tax. Your CCB, there's something you will see while you're filing your tax. If you're using Wealthsimple, you see UCCB, that's Universal Child Care Benefits. That is not child care benefits. Child care benefits came to replace Universal Child Care Benefits, I think in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. So people that used to receive that universal child benefit, some of them still receive lump sum of that money till date. So those are the ones that will report that line. But your normal child care benefit is not income, an entitlement for your child. So you don't have to report your CCB on when you're filing your tax, okay? I think I've mentioned everything I needed to mention. I don't know if there's any other form I'm missing. Okay, let me talk about education. Now, if you paid tuition, you need to collect a form from your school as well. I think it's from T4A. No, I'm not sure. But you need to collect a form from your school, right? Now the form will show how much you paid in tuition for the year. Because I paid tuition last year, I collected that form. I also put the form, the amount I paid in tuition that year. I put the name of the college. I put that it's a full-time program. And the number of hours I, was in school. So I put it there. Everything is in the form, so you don't have to crack your head and start calculating how many hours did I go to school. Everything is in the form. So I put that in there. Then also, if you collected any grants from the government, like OSAP grant, you also need to report it. So I collected OSAP grant from the government, which last year was my last year. I'm not doing that again. So I reported that one as well. There's a form you also get, NLSC or something like that. You log everybody that collected grants has access to that site. I think it's national. I can't remember what the full name is, but it's like student loan something something. So you see the provincial form and you see the federal form. You put the name of the institution. I think it's usually Ministry of Training, something something. I can't remember. I think it's usually Ministry of Training and Social Services or something like that. You get that one. They also get from the province. So because usually like a federal and provincial grants or loan, whatever it is the case may be. So you also need to fill that form while you're filing your tax as well. Then if you have additional source of income, you also need to include that, so that you don't get, asked why didn't you include it in the future. So that's all I have for you guys. Like I said, if you have inquiries, ask in the comments. If you have inquiries on how to go about Wealthsimple, I'll put a link to the website in the description box, so have a look at that, and I'll see you in my next one. Take care.